Marijuana can be so easily purchased in Colorado and then stealthily smuggled back over border lines into other states where marijuana is not legal. Crime rates, especially drug arrests, have increased in Nebraska and Oklahoma due to the legalization of marijuana in Colorado in 2012. The two states have been in the process of suing Colorado for a long time over the havoc and unwanted use of the drug in their states. The petition to sue has been pending for over 15 months now at the Supreme Court level. Source number 7 states that U.S. officials don't want to acknowledge the fact that such a dilemma is even going on, which is perfectly exemplified by this lawsuit. This is leaving Nebraska and Oklahoma infuriated while Colorado is just trying to stay under the radar. Source number 4 talks about how Commander Mark Alcantara of San Mateo County Narcotics Task Force says that as long as people are growing the crops for personal use, then it's not their problem. However, this is generally not what's happening. People in Colorado are growing and making huge amounts of money from their plants. Colorado has caused an unnecessary hostile environment between its neighboring states, causing Nebraska and Oklahoma to feel alienated from a state that used to be an ally, all because of the legalization of marijuana.
1 minute, 7 seconds. Rebuttal.
So, if marijuana was legalized recreationally, then the states around Colorado wouldn't have any problems with it being leaked across their borders, because it would also be legal there. And then there wouldn't be the whole pending court case as well.
18 seconds. Point 3 pro.
Okay, so it's commonly stated that marijuana can be more dangerous than cigarettes or alcohol. But is it really the marijuana itself that makes it more dangerous? I contest that it is in fact the fact that the negative effects of some of these legal drugs is more easily suppressed. This is because these legal drugs are regulated where illegal drugs cannot be. Cigarettes, for example, often have a filter, which, as source 2 points out, marijuana almost never does. Legally, the cigarettes have to. So while much of the toxins filtered out of normal cigarettes are not filtered in marijuana. Let's look at prohibition. Back when alcohol was made illegal across the board, alcohol became much more dangerous as people were distilling things that weren't exactly safe to consume. People would drink alcohol literally made from distilled furniture, which often led to severe poisoning. Once it became legal, it was regulated again and became much safer. And furthermore, it's easier for minors to access illegal drugs than legal drugs, because it's easier for them to buy it at least, because no legal source would be able to provide them to minors once it was regulated, whereas a dealer, when it's illegal, has no qualm selling it to someone who is underage. So while legalizing this drug would make it more accessible for adults, it might actually make it harder for youth to get. Rather than leave their constituents alienated, lawmakers should legalize and regulate marijuana.
1 minute, 44 seconds. Rebuttal.
You said it would be easier to buy marijuana since it was illegal, but anybody that has an older friend or an older sibling, especially in high school, they could easily ask them to buy the marijuana if it was legalized as recreationally, because the age would be similar to 18 or 21.
19 seconds. Point 4.
Recreational marijuana should not be legalized due to the adverse effects it's been shown to have on developing brains. The vast majority of people who use marijuana recreationally begin before the age of 18, some as early as 12. It is during these years, from the beginning of adolescence until about 21, that the human brain undergoes nearly the entirety of its development to become an adult brain. It is almost unanimously agreed upon by the scientific community that cannabis drugs, such as marijuana, cause atrophy to the areas of the brain responsible for memory and decision-making. The decay of the myelin sheath of the nerve pathways in these areas of the brain lead to a slowing of the speed at which electrical impulses can travel through those pathways. This leads to an overall slowing of cognitive functions and a decreased ability to make decisions and form and store memories. A significant drop in IQ has also been noted among individuals who begin to use marijuana in their adult life. All this, however, is only a best-case scenario. In situations where the user began to use as a teenager or earlier, it is not decay of the brain that is observed, but the failure of those areas of the brain to develop successfully in the first place. This leads to all of the same problems as those faced by an adult user, but magnified to a much greater scale. Not only this, but because the damage would have occurred during the brain's formative years, the likelihood of the brain being able to heal its nerve pathways and achieve normal cognitive function is reduced to almost nothing. According to Source 2, marijuana use induces the same dopamine rush as is caused by competing in sports, winning a competition, and many other forms of personal success and accomplishment. Providing people with an easy alternative method for receiving this rush discourages participation in healthy, normal activities that build personal skills and relationships. Allowing this to be an option available to young people will undermine the already waning values of hard work and dedication, which are vital to a person's success and happiness. In addition, the introduction to the body of any substance with addictive properties before the brain has finished developing exponentially increases the rate at which a person will develop a dependency on the substance, and increases the likelihood that the addiction will be lifelong and irreversible. The legalization of marijuana would lead to future generations becoming completely indolent, unable to think and speak at their full capacity, unable to form memories of their everyday lives, and unable to survive without a constant supply of the drug. The inability of a person to participate fully and consciously in society leads to the development of a listless and apathetic attitude, which would perpetuate the problem and lead to further drug use to escape their own insipid lives. This is a phenomenon that has been observed countless times. Furthermore, it would feed the already overwhelming problem this country faces with substance addiction and would lead to a necessary increase in rehabilitation programs, which are taxpayer-funded and extremely expensive to run. The legalization of marijuana would be disastrous both for personal health and the well-being of our communities.
2+, rebuttal.
This debate, we're mainly talking about recreational, which is focused on economic and social. So a lot of what you said about the health aspects shouldn't really be looked at or counted. Also, you said that IQ of those who use drops, but that is the case with a lot of drugs, as many of them drop out of school. And also, that only happens when you use excessive amounts of marijuana.
Okay, 22 seconds.